It's the great and glorious to be famous one day. Nick Dutch here, back again. And what the fuck am I going to talk about today? I'm on YouTube. What the fuck am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about religious hokum. Why? Because everyone's talking about religious hokum. It's as if it's like the biggest hot subject to take lousy arguments and lousy reasoning and use them as a way of attacking lousy arguments and lousy reasoning. Or to take seemingly good arguments, which are based upon a false or faulty premise, and then present them as if there's something worthwhile for people to listen to. Just because it's on a video on YouTube doesn't mean to say that it's worthwhile listening to or paying any attention to at all. We have to think not with our hearts, not just with our emotions when we watch a YouTube video. We've also got to think very carefully about where a person is coming from. Let's say a person is trying to attack religion. Let's say a person is trying to attack, let's say, for example, Christianity. Now, I'm not attacking Christianity in this video. I don't see the point in attacking Christianity. It's a religion, it's a spiritualist path of sorts. And there is misinterpretation of it. And also the criticisms of Christianity also are rife with misinterpretations. Now, what I want to do is draw a parallel between something that I've experienced, something that I've been through, and religion. Many, many years ago, I mean literally many, many years ago, when you suddenly realize you're in your mid-30s, okay, your late teens are many, many years ago. It might seem very current up here, but it's still many, many years ago. I bought this book, I think it was about the New Age travelers, a group of people I wanted to try and understand. And the book was essentially the story of about a dozen different people who had taken to the road, as they call it. You know, get a beaten up van or a motorcycle or a tent or a caravan or recreational vehicle and just take to the road and live on the road. And the stories were about the trials and tribulations of these travelers, the good things they experience and all the hardship they experience as well when they're trying to make a living and trying to help out the people in their community and all the rest. What I did with this book was I read it once every year, and I made a mental note of my attitudes to the stories, to the characters, to the way that I saw the content of the book. And I did that every single year. You might even say religiously. What I noticed over the number of years that I did this exercise was the change in my attitudes. I mean, I built up in my mind a mental image as to what these people may have looked like, sounded like, the way their characters may have felt, the way they may have reacted to different social stimuli. In a very similar way to a person of religion might develop a relationship with their own deity or their prophets or the characters in the books of their religion. I looked at the morality of these people within the stories, and I applied some of that to my life. In certain phases of my life, I did try and emulate some of the ideas or behavior or attitudes that these people had to varying levels of success, and often with some humorous results that I will not go into publicly at all under any circumstances. But either way, you know, I was living my life with these stories, with these characters, understanding where they were coming from, trying to see the world through other people's eyes, and using that as a mirror for myself, seeing aspects of myself within their own characters. So apart from the fact that there was no spiritual behavior such as prayer, there was meditation of sorts in terms of contemplation. There was devotion in the fact that I was reading the book every single year, and there was growth, intellectual, emotional growth. So in many ways this was a religious exercise. But doesn't this just bring us back to the idea of what is a religion? You see, I don't believe that a religion is just a set of rules to obey. I would see the stories of religion and the morality that's written in any religious book or spoken of by any priest or preacher as being a point of reference. That is why it is a truth rather than the truth. It's something that you can use to contemplate certain aspects of your life from. It's something you can use as a mirror of your own soul to a certain degree. It's something that you can use to weigh up the pros and cons of your own points of view, your own attitude, your own states of emotional control, to see whether there is any way in which you could change or improve yourself, and even to challenge some of the ideas that you have held dearly. I would say that the moment a person ceases to think like this, and instead of using the path of personal growth through the contemplation of religious texts, and they start to see the book or the dogma as something just to obey, that they're not being religious and they do not have a religious argument. You see, what are stories? What is the media? It's the points of reference that humans have so that they can interact with each other, so that they can communicate with each other. Points of reference, just like certain TV shows will be watched by certain groups of people who will then meet up at work and talk about their favorite TV shows. So yes, there's even a religious aspect to television. But when you're trying to challenge the authority of any religion, and I mean any religion, through reference to the stories and ideas in the text, you're making a big mistake. It may be right to challenge the views of those who have the wrong attitude to religion, namely those who are following dogma. But to challenge the stories themselves seems to me to be fruitless and pointless, because although they mean absolutely nothing, because every single story means absolutely nothing, apart from through the interpretation of the individual with reference to their own state of personal development, their sole purpose is to be used to help people to develop and to grow, and nothing more.